Dormail, home of a great night's sleep.
So I declared this to my wife. I came home and said, look, I've had a great idea. I'm going to quit my job.
Oh, no.
And I'm going to see if I can do some food.
Well, we didn't. We woke up and we said, let's do it. And
Yeah.
so a year later, Foxy Margot is born and is now on the shelves.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, I've got a couple of little stories I want to share with you. First, my first story is a bit sad. Well, it's not sad. It's poignant. So, do you remember me telling you on my canal I had 2 swans with 5 cygnets, and I watched them grow, and they got bigger and bigger and bigger, and they started to get white bottoms, so they were changing into swans. This morning, the 2 swans went by, and the cygnets have gone. They've flown and left.
Oh, darling.
They've left their mummy and daddy.
They've left them. They've left their nest.
I think they're actually auditioning for Dog TV, because on Dog TV there are a lot of ducks and cygnets, darling.
Yes. So anyway, G, onwards. So that's madness. But my other story is a bit silly. So Debbie knows about this, because Debbie and I sometimes use a little spray for our hair, for our roots.
Right.
Yes. It's not funny at all.
Where have you sprayed it?
Well, I sprayed it all.
Cherry, where have you sprayed
it? Dark, all on here, all across here, but it was a very dark brown colour. Anyway, I don't know if you watched the Dirk Bogarde film. I can't remember the film, what it was called, but I went out in the rain, and it suddenly rained really hard. Got in the car, didn't think anything about it. Went into my supermarket, and it had all dripped, all down here, and because of the rain, I didn't feel it, so I had black marks.
That is hysterical.
My white shirt, which I had a white shirt on.
Oh no!
I looked horrendous.
Oh, that's interesting, Sherry, because I didn't know that would happen if your hair got wet.
Yeah, well, that's. But I just sprayed it, and you know, not one person said to me, "Could I just tell you that you've got black marks?"
They don't.
They don't, do they?
No. Never.
They just turned away like you. It's a lunatic.
Absolutely.
It's a lunatic of the village.
Well, you are.
You probably enjoy it, darling.
The thing is, you are the lunatic of the village.
I am. Oh my God, it was so embarrassing.
I know, that is so hysterical. May I just say something? You used a word that confused me. I think it began with an R, and it was about water. Because I'm in Dubai still, so I don't know what rain is here. And also, they don't get rain here, but they create rain deliberately. They create it. And I believe somebody told me, and you can imagine how my face said, it rained for 6 minutes last year.
Goodness me.
No.
Really,
that's outrageous.
I said, I didn't know you suffered so much. I'm so, I know. I didn't know you suffered that badly. I'm so sorry. 6 minutes.
Now, Sherry, you could use that spray in Dubai and you'd be fine forever.
There you go.
Very true.
Who's our first? We've got 2 guests today, don't we?
We have. It's all very exciting, isn't it? We have got an author, an award-winning author, presenter, and a chef.
Yes.
Called Theo Michaels.
Hello, Theo.
I'm here. I've not done a runner. I'm here.
Oh, Theo, how are you, darling? It's lovely to see you.
I know. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honoured to be on the show today.
Oh, it's great to see
you. Darling. We're delighted. And actually, I want to ask you, because it's all very exciting. In 2014, your life completely turned around, didn't it? When you were shortlisted and you made it to the semi-finals for MasterChef. So tell us what happened then.
Yes.
Yay.
I used to run a recruitment business for sort of 15 years. And I just fell out of love of recruitment and everything else. And we just got back off holiday, and I sort of filled out the application form to join MasterChef. I didn't think anything of it at all. suddenly got the phone call at work to say, "Oh, this is MasterChef. Will you, is that Theo?" And I, you know that thing small kids do when they get excited and they hold their groin and they jump around like they need the toilet.
Oh no!
So I sort of did that in the office.
Too much
and
information.
ran to a room, and this happened like 3 or 4 times. And then eventually I got onto the show, and I just thought to myself, I've really fallen out of love with what I do in the corporate world, and I want to change. And in recruitment, there's this sort of thing where whenever you chat to people, they sort of say, "Oh, I want to get a new job. I want to do something different, but I don't know what it is. I know I don't want to do what I'm doing now, but I don't know what it is I want to do." And so I felt really lucky to have suddenly found this passion again. And so I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna leave the corporate world, sell my sort of equity, and just try making a career in food, see what happens. And so I declared this to my wife. I came home and said, "Look, I've had a great idea. I'm going to quit my job.
Oh no!
And I'm going to see if I can do some food." And my wife was like, "Right, we've got kids, house mortgage. You've got 1 year to do this, and otherwise you're going back to recruitment." And so that was the deal. And that was 7 years ago. And so far, she hasn't made me go back to recruitment, thankfully.
Oh my God, Theo, that is an absolutely brilliant story. So then after that, I mean, I just want to take you back to when I met you a few years ago. We were talking about making a dog cookbook, weren't we?
I know. Well, we both had this real passion for our dogs, don't we?
Yeah.
And we got I've never been a dog person, actually. We got a dog, and I suddenly within a month I thought, I can't imagine the house without this little puppy running around. You know, it totally changed us. And I remember, Debbie, you and I, we were forming big plans to take over the world with our dog cookbook. I should hasten to add, that's not cooking the dogs, by the way. That's feeding the dogs. Just to be clear.
But we never got round to it, though, did we, Theo? We'll have to
no,
do that.
I feel like we need to get together and do some recipe testing on our
Definitely
of dogs, Debbie.
I think it will work very well. So how did it start, Theo? Where did you start cooking when you were a little boy?
Well, so my background is Greek Cypriot, so full Greek blood, but born and bred in the UK. And I think our culture just revolves around the kitchen table. You know, like it's always around the kitchen and in food. But there's a misconception that everyone's always in the kitchen, and as a kid we would do anything to stay away from the kitchen, because if we walked through it, as soon as we did, my mum would go, "Oi, you, come over here, start stirring that pot," and you'd be like, "Oh no." And so food was always a big love. And then at university, you know, student, no money, it was much cheaper to try cooking for prospective girlfriends and take them out for dinner. So I thought I've got to really learn my way well. So yeah, I guess it's always been there, Debbie. There's always been a love of food.
Well, I just want to ask you about Cyprus, because I used to have a flat in Famagusta, obviously before the coup. You know what I mean? When Famagusta was truly wonderful. And didn't your father live in Famagusta?
Yeah, so my mum comes from a little village called Strovolos, which is near the Nicosia area.
Yeah.
And my dad's family are from a little place called Yalusa, but he used to live in Famagusta for a while. And I'm sure, Sherry, you must have crossed paths, because they exited when the coup was there. And my dad keeps telling me about this speedboat left on the beach somewhere that he used to own.
Do you know what, though, Theo? You could have been my son.
Well, I have got quite a like paternal reaction to you, I've got to say, Sherry. So I'm not sure.
You are. I mean,
I don't know whether to be appalled by that.
But
my reaction, or Sherry bearing me as her child?
Yes, exactly. Do you think your food comes from Cyprus?
Yeah, no, I think naturally it does. I think my food now, professionally, it's always inspired by that sort of DNA of Cyprus and the Mediterranean. But then equally, you know, I'm a dad, 3 kids, all under 12. And so there's also twined with the reality of modern life, you know, and it's not all sort of the good life, rolling out dough and making sour bread every night. There's a bit about getting food on the table for 3 hungry kids. So I think professionally, a lot of the books I've written tend to be Mediterranean biased.
Can I ask you about 5dinners.com?
So this, so basically, when the pandemic hit, my professional job as executive chef for an events company basically stopped overnight. That just died. And so what used to happen previously, I used to work out the country for sort of 2-3 months every year. And my wife, you know, bless her, would be left managing the kids in the house and doing dinners. And she's a great cook, but she doesn't enjoy it that much. And so we started meal planning. Long story short, I started to write out a bunch of recipes and meals just to sort of make life easy. And we thought, God, this has been really great. So we basically thought, let's give it to everyone. So we created a business, 5dinners.com, and basically it's an online meal planning service. So you log on, you register, and you say, look, we're a family of 10 or 1 or 3 or 5. These are the foods we like. And then every single week we put out a brand new meal plan. So five recipes. And it's already worked out to how many you're feeding. So if you're feeding 1 or 5, it does that. And then you press a button and it gives you a shopping list for the whole week of everything you need. And it just makes life incredibly easy.
Brilliant.
So
Wow. And it's on
that sounds absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. On a budget.
It's great. It's funny actually. When we launched it, we were like, you know, it really helps cut food waste and it saves loads of money. But the big feedback we get from everyone is just saying, you know what, we love not having to think about what we're cooking every week.
Yeah.
It just takes away the pressure.
I mean, absolutely.
And, our kids, as soon as they wake up in the morning, they're eating breakfast, going, "What are we having for dinner? What are we having for dinner?" You're like, "Oh my God, I haven't even had a cup of coffee yet. I don't know."
What is your favourite meal?
Oh, do you know, number 1, it's anything cooked by someone else. And number 2, it really is. But I really love a bit of barbecued fish, for instance. That would be my desert islands dish.
Me too.
A lovely bit of fish barbecued, and probably a really good martini as well. And I'd be.
Do you know, you obviously are a child of mine, because that's exactly what. So you must be my child.
Okay, do we need to get the legal team in now, Dee?
Can I just say to you, Theo, if you do this doggy cookie bookie, or you could call it that, I have a very strange chihuahua, and that's not a euphemism.
Yes, it is.
He won't eat anything because he's so odd. So can you do, in your cookie bookie, can you do food for odd chihuahuas, please?
Well, I'm going to have to confer with my co-author Debbie on this.
Yes, absolutely.
And it sounds a bit weird, but I would do my best to feed your chihuahua.
Thank you, because Debbie actually has got a very hairy chihuahua.
Oh yes,
mine is
Jerry.
Really?
We can't go
those chihuahuas were quite shaven nowadays.
No, mine is, but Debbie's got a hairy one.
Oh, maybe it's only the Saint-Tropez chihuahuas that are shaved.
Well, yes,
way.
you see, absolutely, not the Surrey ones.
Thank you.
And on that happy note, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Come and see us again soon. We might get you to cook for us.
So, we do that.
Yes, please. Yes.
Please.
Bye.
Girls, I want you to promise me no more Chihuahua talk. It's not appropriate.
Well, I mean, I have to say, but we have different Chihuahuas, me and Debbie, don't we, Debs?
Yes, darling.
Everyone does,
though. I think it's a bit passe to shave yours.
Well, but he still molts, you know, even though he has no hair.
A hairy one these days apparently is far more sexy. I mean, Chihuahuas I'm talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
We've gone delirious today. So our next guest is my friend Joel, who you know is an actor from EastEnders, and actually played some sort of weird pervert in Casualty, didn't you?
Well, I mean,
yes,
that's an introduction, isn't
Here
it?
he is.
Played
Here
some
he
weird
is.
pervert. Here he is, all the way from Norfolk. Yes, well, it was an unsavoury character, yes, which I seem to have had a run of those, yeah.
Welcome to our nest. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, but I remember, Joel, when you were playing that part, and I remember you saying to me, it's just typical, you know, to end up with a sort of long-running part with such an unsavoury character.
Yeah, I was I was married to one of the nurses, and I was a teacher and had an affair with a 15-year-old girl.
Oh, how horrific!
And it just kept going, and they kept saying, "Oh, we're quite enjoying this. Do you want to come back?"
Oh God!
Okay. Well, again, what's he done this time? So, yeah, it went on for a bit. It was good fun.
And you were in EastEnders as well. Which character were you in EastEnders?
So I played Jake Moon. I was Alfie Moon's cousin. There was the two of us. We were supposed to be the sort of the new double act, and yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, it was two years. In fact, funnily enough, someone sent me a little article that was in I think the Mirror about a month ago, just saying, this day 15 years ago, Jake Moon got killed. And that was 15 years ago. I left.
Wow.
And
Time fly.
it does. It all goes so quickly. But Joel, you have had, obviously, we know each other through voiceovers. You've had the most fantastic voice career as well. I mean, you've done basically everything. I mean, for a long, long time. What was it was Oral B, wasn't it? You were the voice of Oral B.
Listerine, yes. Listerine. I mean, I've done everything from sort of nappies to mouthwash to perfume to cars. And as we know, Debbie, it is the well, it's the gift that kept on giving, which they keep on giving at the moment. But I mean, it was just brilliant. And I can honestly say that I had no idea where it was going to go. And I've loved every single job I've done. I love it. I love doing voiceovers. And, I've got a studio at home now, as many of us have. And, I just, I think it's a real skill as well. I think it's a real underestimated skill. And I've enjoyed every single job.
Yeah, because in lockdown, because you've also been an entrepreneur in lots of different other things as well, haven't you, Joel? I mean, you're that sort of character because you direct and you produce, don't you, too?
Yeah, well, my sort of background is doing corporate films as well. So I was, it was all going quite well until lockdown, and then it literally everything just fell off the edge of a cliff. So yeah, I mean, my background's doing sort of directing, producing stuff, and I'm very much using actors as well. So having a stable of actors to do a lot of sort of corporate work, which has been really good.
Excuse me, you haven't used any of us. What's going on?
Yes, he's used me.
I have.
Well, he may, of course he's used, but I'm talking about the three of us. Of course
Yeah.
he's used Debbie. I'm talking about us. So if you would get in touch with our agents,
The
please, we'd be
others.
very
I will.
thankful.
I will. Yes, I can see it happening now. I can
Yes,
see
no
it.
self-tape. No self-tape.
Hashtag
Yeah.
eyes on, no choice.
Okay, I've
Just
got
saying.
it. I've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sadly at the moment,
I just want to say to you, Joel, I do remember you in the office. I loved you in the office. How long ago is that?
so that's 20 years ago this year.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's mad, you know what?
Memories? Do you have good memories of it?
Oh, brilliant memories. For me, I think the thing about the office that sticks out to me was it was a real ensemble piece. It was just none of us had a clue what was going on. None of us knew where it would go. But one of the things I always remember, and you guys will appreciate this, is when you have the read-throughs, and sometimes you kind of sit there and you go, didn't think they'd cast that person, and you sort of, but they have, and you read through, and I remember sitting in like the BBC basement. It was this dingy little room. We were obviously some low budget thing that was happening. No one really knew what was going on, and we started to do the read, and then you could just see people's, because it's quite a nervous experience when you haven't.
Yeah.
Usually you're
Horrible.
transfixed on the script going, it's me, I'm coming up, it's my line. And and you could see people their heads were beginning to rise, and they were looking up, and people were playing opposite each other immediately. And the last of it, and you just knew, you knew from that moment that there was something quite special about it.
Wow.
And it was also great that because Ricky and Steve were pretty novice, at the time, that there was very much like, well, any ideas? What do you want to do? Do you want to do something different? So you could try stuff out. And because it was only, what was also great was it was one lighting setup, because we had an office and it was one lighting.
Yes, of course.
So of course there's no like, well, we can't move the angle. If we do that, we've got to reset. So it was very much, it was all documentary style. So if you found something new to do, you just have a go at it.
Amazing.
I
That was
loved,
also
I
the-
loved you in it.
Thank
Can I
you.
just
And
say
what
to
was
you
that-
also, can you tell me how you developed, this must have happened in lockdown, your life coaching and your hypnotherapy, and you say you can help people change their lives and their ways. And how did that come? How did you think of that?
So I actually 7 years ago, I was a smoker, and I just decided to quit. And I went to see a guy who I'm still very much friends with now, who was actually one of the guys that taught me coaching, and he did some coaching with me and prevented me from smoking. I haven't touched a cigarette since, and I've always been quite friendly with him. And then it's something that's always appealed to me, because I think the similarities between acting and coaching, they're quite big. They're there, very prominent. You know, you're taking someone on a journey, your suggestions and what you're trying to do for them, you're trying to guide them along. So very similar to that. And also as a coach, you are performing, because you're trying to change someone's beliefs. So interested, and also, you know, if you do well, someone gives you a round of applause.
Always a bonus.
Yes, always a bonus. And you know, they're very few and far between these days.
Absolutely.
Except that, am I correct in thinking there are rounds of applause now, but they're paws that applaud, little paws, doggy paws,
yes,
who are
indeed.
applauding you for your sensational doggy shampoo and conditioner.
Yes, well, yeah, well, it's
tell
kind
us
of,
everything.
I will. Well, lockdown was so we did the coaching, and then I was with a very good friend of mine, an old school friend, and we've sort of worked together over the years. And you know, we're sitting there, and I think, if I'm honest, there was maybe bottle of red and white, and maybe and rosé involved. I'm not going to sit in lockdown. I'm not going to sit and be miserable. I've got to do something, because this isn't going to get any better. And she's got a lovely dog called Margot. And Margot has a problem with her skin. It's very sensitive. And we were talking about it during that day. And then I just said, you know, well, why don't we do it? Why don't we just launch a range of dog shampoos and grooming products and see how we go? And the next day, we kind of, as a lot of people do, they wake up and go, what were we talking about last night? But we didn't. We woke up and we said, let's do it. And so a year later, Foxy Margot is born and is now on the shelves. And
it smells gorgeous too.
It really is fantastic. I've got
fabulous.
2 dogs and they love it.
Yeah, well, it's a really good product. It's vegan friendly. It's got no sulfates or, you know, nasty perfumes in there or anything like that. So yeah, it's good. Actually, Debbie's got the deodorizing mist in it.
She has.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it.
Yeah. So
I use it myself, actually.
Well, you know what? I mean, I shouldn't say you could, but you know, you're welcome to try. There's
But
nothing.
it's pure, isn't it? It's pure, so you can.
We're going to put it on our website so that people can see it and access it too.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. It's going really, really well. Better than expected. Yeah. So we're very pleased.
Oh, congratulations.
And I also, and actually, and I'm talking about going back to the coaching quickly. I did, so 7 years on, I did my first proper quit smoking hypnotherapy session. And the guy's completely cured and done. So I feel quite proud about that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That's an achievement.
Well, we all need hypnotherapy, Joel, so we'll all be round.
Yeah.
Wow, brilliant.
If only I could hypnotize a few casting agents.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Who says you can't, dear?
Well, that's
of course
right.
you can.
Yeah. I think I need to be in front of them for longer.
Well, can I tell you something?
Exactly.
Last year, I did some presentational stuff at the casting directors awards ceremony, and I did threaten them that if they didn't give any money to Acting for Others, the charity that I'm an ambassador for, I would sell them my show. I would send them my show reel hourly.
Every day.
So they're every day, hourly. So I have.
Hilarious.
It's not worked. But all I can say is you can get them all together in one room and you can hypnotize them there, and then you'll be sorted, dear.
Yes, it would be a good
There
idea. I might try that.
You learn something new on this show every time you come.
You
on.
do.
Every time. Every time.
Every time. Oh, Joe, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
So what you've done so many amazing things that we just heard. So what have you got planned? And I'm sure it's going to be completely awesome. But what have you got planned for the future, darling?
Well, I mean, it's more at the moment. It's all about the shampoo. It's all about the coaching. And do you know what? I think with lockdown, one of the things for me is what I'd like for the future is just to be with people again. I think I really miss that's the. I mean, you know, Debbie and I used to meet up for lunch, and when we're in town doing voiceovers and things like that. I just, for the future, I just would like to slightly get back to normal and just a bit of structure and just, you know, go and actually go into places and go into studios or have a casting in front of somebody, or
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Zoom is here to stay, and that's
Yes.
great. But
Yeah.
for the future, that's
Yeah.
what I like. Next year, I think we will.
I
We
hope
will.
so.
Oh, and
I hope this zooming stops.
Yes, and we can
this
all meet up,
taping.
darling.
Well, you guys, I mean,
Awful.
you guys should be in a studio by now. I mean,
Exactly.
Exactly. Exactly. We're planning lots of stuff actually for next time. So next time you're on, Joel.
yes.
Who knows? Studio,
In the
Joel.
flesh.
That's what I've done.
Oh, darling,
It's
Thank you.
called Naked Wonderbirds. It'll be a horror film.
Oh, I like it.
You'll watch that.
Yes, a late night one.
I pay per
So
view for
lovely.
that.
Thank you so much for coming on, darling.
Thank you, Joel.
And
Thank
we'll
you
see
very
you
much.
We
very
do-
soon.
See you
We do
soon.
actually provide therapy for those people who have been on the show. I can only apologize.
But
So
you can do it
you will be getting
yourself.
that. Yeah. Bye.
Encourage yourself.
Bye-bye. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
That was so fun. What an amazing guest today.
We
Really
Yeah,
lovely.
loved
brilliant.
it. Both
Bring
of
the,
them.
bring the boys on, I think. Well, actually, we've got an even more amazing guest, not more amazing than them, but different and amazing in his own way. We have on Friday, Peter Egan.
Oh, lots to say.
Oh, yes.
Lots to
To
say.
say, lots to say.
It's
So
lovely.
that's
Fabulous.
really exciting. So we're so honoured that we get such fantastic guests. So
Yeah.
thank you everyone for coming, and thank you to Theo and to Joel. They were both amazing, and also
Very
these
funny.
shampoos, which are
Yes.
really good. They are
They
really,
really
good.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, girls, see you on
See you
Friday.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Dormail, home of a great night's sleep.